It is finally here, Shadow Greninja for the Open Great League. Greninja is my favorite Pokemon of all time, and so I'm quite happy that this Pokemon finally gets a Shadow form, and I can finally use an Elite Charge TM on a Pokemon with really bad stats. Love that for myself. But of course, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to subscribe and feel free to leave a like on the video. It helps me out a ton. But today we're going to have here finally the Shadow Greninja. I am so happy that I got this Pokemon already. The Shadow event is going on only for a few hours at this point. And yeah, trust me, this is a fun Pokemon. It's a Pokemon that I would really recommend you to get for yourself as well. But is it going to be better than the normal Greninja? We're going to try to answer this here today in this video as well. So definitely stay tuned for that. We have an interesting team, because we're going to have here a double fairy backline, and honestly that backline really worked out well for me. There's of course a clear idea behind this team as well. We're going to have a water type in the lead, we're going to have a Saysop that is going to be able to resist fighting type damage, which of course Greninja doesn't want to face, but also having a water type coverage, which I always enjoy, with here the Chilling Water. And then we have the back the Tinkaton, which actually is really good together with the Greninja. Those kind of cover each other's weaknesses perfectly nearly. The thing is though, like of course our Tinkaton doesn't have the best IVs yet. I need to kind of trade a little bit more for that one, but I might be at another regional eventually again as well, and maybe you can get some trades in there, as Tinkaton is one of those Pokemon that you really want to have with good IVs for the Open Great League. It changes quite a bit on how this Pokemon kind of functions. That being said, it's still going to be alright if you have a Pokemon like this one here on my side that doesn't have the best IVs, but still kind of fits on what it's supposed to be doing. Of course, you could have went for something like even a Mawile here, but Tinkaton just has a better bulk compared to Mawile, and that kind of changes a lot. But also, Tinkaton can one-shot something like a Meloma here, for example. Alright, let's move into the battles directly. I had a lot of a lag actually a little bit here in there as well, which kind of decided a few battles today as well, sadly. Not towards our direction, but was just in the beginning. Later on, it didn't really matter as much anymore. But here, for example, we have the Clefable in the lead. That's going to be alright. We were able to land the Hydro Cannon, and usually our people are running currently Moonblast as well as the move of Meteor Mash, which means we should be able to always outspeed them. I'm alright with this scenario I put myself into. I am able to now let the move go, and I get an energy advantage on the Tinkaton. 2 False Move advantage is actually quite nice. And in comes the Stunfisk, where I have a good answer in the Florges, but Florges is kind of here now in a position where I would need to deal with 2 Pokemon at once. We're going to get out the Jellicent from the opponent. We have the advantage at least to have a super effective charge move with the Trailblaze, and I will be able to very likely take a hit from the opponent as well. But I have to kind of make a call here. I expect that the opponent will use a shield because they kind of have to. They kind of need to get the damage off with their Jellicent in order to have a chance in this battle. But I kind of make a bit of a misplay here. I think I should have went for more energy already in this matchup. I would have been able to do that for sure, and it would have helped me out a bit now, because now I'm sadly not going to be able to get there. But at the end of the day, I do think that my Florges always would have been struggling to get to the next move here. So I feel like I didn't have a chance of winning this one. I battled against quite a lot of Stunfisk here today. I don't really know where they're all of a sudden coming from. But yeah, we're going to sadly go down here, as this incoming Mud Bomb is sadly going to be enough to knock us out. And we can move on to the next opponent, as we don't reach a charge move here with the Florges. Alright, Meloma actually is really good in the lead. Because we have the Shadow bonus and because we do so much damage, I would be able to win the 0 shield scenario and the 1 shield scenario, most likely all of the shield scenario. I think actually the 0 shields I might still survive my Hydro Cannon, but in 2 shields you guarantee you win this matchup as a Greninja. There's nothing the opponent can do about it, because you outspeed them. Why do I swap out them? Because I have 2 Pokemon in the back that are even stronger against Meloma compared to Greninja. So also, as we have an AEB style line, I'd rather keep the energy on my Greninja and utilize my backline then in order to deal with the Meloma later on as well still. But as you'll see, they're going to swap out into their Corviknight, and they don't get any boost with their move here, basically, with the Air Cutter, which is quite nice for us. It's a 30% chance. There is going to be a battle here today where we have basically the exact same scenario, but you will see on how important it is to get boost with Air Cutter in this scenario. Here in this case, of course, we are going to be able to survive. We are going to be able to even go for a Trailblaze to knock them out. And we have alignment now, which is nice because there's going to be the Stunfisk coming in, but sadly they can farm us all the way down. But we have the option at least to go for the Hydro Cannon against them, which is going to do some super effective damage against the opponent as well. And now with the Shadow bonus on Greninja on top of it, it will do so much. But I expect the opponent to use a shield here, as I also still have a move slot on the Meloma. It makes a lot of sense for them to try to get rid of my final shield and then swap out into the Meloma and superpower me. Because I predicted this, I swapped out of here. The opponent didn't do that. And that's kind of unfortunate, because In my opinion, that would have been the smartest play by them, because they still had a shield left. They would have been guaranteed to get rid of my Greninja, and then they still would have had, yeah, basically the option in the back there to just, yeah, play with the Stunfisk or whatever, but they didn't do that. I overpredicted and lost the battle because of this. I'm fine by this, by the way, because I feel like this was the right call that I did there. I do think that this was the right way of playing it. I just, like, the opponent just didn't do what I expected them to do, and that is fine. I'm honestly not like sad about losing this battle, because I feel like I would have, I did my best basically. I did my best. I don't think there was anything else I could have done to make it really better. I had to predict that the opponent was going to stop out there because of the energy that they had. I could have maybe stayed in the lead. That could have been something I could have changed and just played it out. But we have an ABB style line, and it's usually the way to play ABB style lines is to keep your lead alive, because otherwise you're going to struggle with other Pokemon. Anyway, we're going to have a Clodsire against us, and while we have a double fairy line here generally, we actually are not struggling that much against this Pokemon. Yes, of course, Tinkaton is still not having the greatest matchup. Don't get me wrong, it's a fairy type and a steel type against a poison and a ground type Pokemon. Like, of course, you're not going to have the greatest matchup. But what I want to say here is that every single Pokemon on our team actually has coverage for this specific Pokemon, and in the back there is going to be the Pangoro going up against our Florges, and that's perfect, and I will be able to take a Night Slash here. I'm going to go for the Chilling Water, trying to knock them out here as well. But I'm going to be able to, yeah, just get them low, get the farm down done. They actually still get another move, which I found quite unfortunate, because I would have liked to, yeah, keep a little bit more health on my Florges, because now we might be in farm down range for the opponent's Clodsire. They still have their 1 HP other Pokemon there alive as well, so we have to be a bit mindful of a potential catch. They still have a shield left as well, which is going to be also a little bit more awkward. But we have our Greninja, which has so much more damage now, thanks to the Shadow bonus, and we are going to see here the Night Slash coming in. This is going to allow us to get the shield from the opponent. We can still reach another Night Slash in time. This is going to be able to get that KO against the opponent. With that, this game is over. The Ludicolo comes in with a 1 HP, and we can farm them down with our Greninja. This was the first battle that I did with this team, and I faced off immediately against a Zweilous, which is not ideal. And the second battle that I did, I think we didn't have it yet either, was directly against the Guzzlord, and I was like, who the hell is going to hard counter me here nonstop? But yeah, we're going to have here the scenario where the Corviknight matchup really depends on if they get boost or not. Because look at this, Air Cutter comes in, they're going to get the boost immediately. It's a 30% chance. So yeah, 30% chance so far, but this is happening for the opponent. That's fine. We get the attack drop again, but we're already lower than we wanted to be. In comes another charge move. Without the attack boost, we would be fine here. We still survive it, and they get the attack boost again. 9% chance of this happening. But this all changes everything. Because of those two attack boosts back to back, we're not able to reach this move. And we would have been able to align ourselves. And alignment would have been already everything that I needed in this battle. Because what I have is, I have Greninja, which is now going to go up against the Zweilous, and I have my Tinkaton, which is going to go up against Annihilate. Still, alignment would have been kind of key here for me to have a chance of winning this battle, but still, this battle isn't over, because I still have the option to go for some cheap moves with our Tinkaton, maybe try to force some of the shields, and I still have some energy left on my Greninja. And so this battle is far from over, actually. We're going to have the Boulders coming in, getting the shield from the opponent, and what I do think is that the opponent is going to do something similar that I did in the battle prior, where I try to predict that there's something happening, and because I have energy still on my Greninja, I expect the opponent to predict that I swap out, and so I don't do that, and they swap out into the Zweilous, which is perfect. But now I'm thinking, okay, Body Slam I still easily survive, Dark Pulse I should be... Okay, I'm not able to survive that. That's unfortunate. So it's down to the Night Slash. I need a charge move against the opponent's Annihilate, so I have to go for Night Slash here, hope it knocks him out. And even with a Shadow bonus, it's not enough by 1 HP. And there were so many occasions where it was out of my hand, but if the one thing would have been different, I would have won this battle. Even though I got hard countered there, which is kind of mad. Like, if I just had one less boost from the opponent's Air Cutter, I would have been fine. They got definitely a little bit more luckier there than I did. It doesn't matter, like, at the end of the day, like, I don't need to argue about on the wins or whatever, because at the end of the day, we're in the interlude season, we all just have fun. But I'm just always like, this team is actually really good, but I want to showcase it to you as well as best as possible. And that was a loss there that was down to just luck. which is fine. Like, the team itself would have won this even that got hard countered. And honestly, this team is amazing. I would really recommend you to try out this team. Here, I decided to stay in and get up to a charge move because maybe I could use it later on, foreshadowing. And we can now just try to play it out with our Tinkaton. This is where Tinkaton kind of comes in clutch as well. Tinkaton is going to be a Pokemon that resists usually the charge moveset of Azumarill, which is fantastic as well. We're going to have a player off coming in. This is going to be enough to get a lot of damage onto them. And the Duoblade is coming in next, which we're going to be able to hit with that Bulldoze. Our Bulldoze coming through, we're going to get, a lot more damage onto us as well here. It's going to be the Sacred Sword, and we can stop out into the Greninja, which we can now shield up as well. This is going to be fine, and this is going to be the Sacred Sword here, and we're going to get more energy. The Night Sage is coming through. This would easily be enough, of course, to knock out the opponent, but we have to see on what they're going to do next. We're going to see the shield coming up, and we're going to try our best here. There is going to be the Sacred Sword coming in. The Azumarill is going to knock our Greninja out now. That's not nice. Like, that's of course unfortunate in this kind of way, but it's still alright. I'm still going to be able to go ahead and go for a charge move here, and foreshadowing here we're going to have the Trailblaze still connecting against the Azumarill, putting it down to 1 HP, allowing our Tinkaton to get a bit more energy, and with that the Bulldoze. And this was so nice. It was crucial that we got even a little bit of energy still there, because now we can win the battle and we can move on to the next opponent. So, next opponent, this is the second battle I did, by the way, with this team, which I said already before, that's the Guzzlord battle. I tried to catch a move there, which didn't work out, and the opponent still stays in because they have access to a super effective hit here in Sludge Bomb. In comes third, and here's, by the way, I had lag in this battle. Like, this is like the first few battles always had a little bit of lag for whatever reason, and you're going to see it here very, very soon, and it's sadly going to be quite impactful. We're going to have the no shield coming in, break. I should have got to the Shielding Water. I just lagged. The opponent got 2 fast moves in there while I got only 1 fast move in. That's not alright. That's not how it's supposed to be happening. And so, like, I had some lag there, which is really unfortunate because otherwise I would have had them in Night Sage range. But I at least have here a matchup again where Tinkaton actually could come in clutch, because Tinkaton is actually very good against both remaining Pokemon from the opponent. And so here we are going to have another charge move that's coming in. It is going to be the player off. It is going to get some solid damage in, and they have to swap out into the Guzzlord now. But I'm debuffed, so I don't do as much damage, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna try to get rid of the opponent's Pokemon as fast as I possibly can. But it's a CMP tie, and that is gonna change quite a bit, because now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go for a 0 bubble. I'm not gonna click on anything, which means my charge move is only doing 25% of the maximum damage, which is allowing us to get a tiny bit of energy still in. But still, even at this point, I have to bait. I have to see that I'm going to be able to get the baits done correctly, and it worked out amazing. I can now go ahead and go for a charge move with my Greninja, which is going to be the Night Slash. But as we will see, the opponent can farm it down, and it is now going to be down to the Tinkaton against the opponent's Araquanid. The Bug Boss is coming through. It's going to be double resisted, and with that we can still survive it. It's going to be such a close battle here. The Bulldoze is going to connect, going to get the shield, and also the debuff onto the opponent's defense, which doesn't really matter because I'm fairly certain I'm still forced to go for the player off, and I reached that with a 1 HP in a dream, winning us this battle, and we can move on to the next opponent. Empoleon in the lead is going to be generally okay for Greninja. This is not a bad matchup at all. It's kind of, the awkward thing is kind of the pacing. The pacing is really awkward because, while yes, we are going to be able to outspeed them because we have a 3-turn fast move, we have to be kind of particular on when we're going to go for the move. And basically getting to the second charge move for Night Sage is never really ideal, I feel like, because of how things cannot change with the opponent going for their own charge move and how the turn order changes. You can always get into an uneven amount of turns, and that's not really ideal. That's not what you want to see. And so kind of the issue here in this matchup specifically is that a lot of times you give the opponent a free fast move, and that is then costing us here at the end. But they got to reveal that they have a Spiritomb in the back. Alright, I will utilize this information and try to go for the Chilling Water first, and I'll try to catch the move onto my bulkier Pokemon in order to see on how this is gonna go. And this is going to be now the Shadow Ball connecting, doing us some solid damage, not enough to knock us out, but I hope I can go for the full farm down. But I can't, and again it looked a little bit, I don't know, suspicious on if I had a tiny bit of lag there. But the Empoleon comes in. I am going to be able to now go ahead and go for a charge move to knock them out. And in the back there is going to be the Sableye, which we're going to be able to hit still hard with the Chilling Water. This is going to drop the opponent's attack, and we're going to try our best to still or reach another move. Because what we have here is, of course, neutral damage from the opponent's fast move, but also neutral damage from the opponent's charge move. They have Dazzling Gleam, which does a tiny bit more damage compared to the power gem as far as I know, but it wasn't enough. We survive with 1 HP in a Dream, and we can go for yet another charge move. Shadow Scissor is going to be our final lead that we have to deal with. So let's see how this is going to go, and honestly, this kind of went a bit more unexpected compared to what I imagined, because usually Greninja outspeed them quite easily, but with the Shadow bonus on top of it, we have quite far less bulk, especially with the stats that we have here. We don't have the best stat product for this Pokemon, which now means as well that they can actually farm us down here. And this is the thing, I do feel like so far that the normal Greninja is the better Pokemon, but I of course have to do more testing towards that. I do think that there is more to explore towards this Pokemon, which we do on this channel as well in the upcoming weeks especially. I want to have more teams towards this. There are going to be more videos towards Greninja. This is going to be the first one out of quite a few because it's my favorite Pokemon. I kind of need to have a good team towards, especially in the next season. So definitely stay tuned towards that as well. But as you can see, Shadow Ball's coming through. We can go for the Trailblaze. This is going to allow us to get some damage in against the opponent. But can we still win the battle? It's going to be quite close, as now the Trailblaze is going to connect. And this is going to get the KO against the opponent. Of course, you saw, by the way, I used the shield for my Greninja in order to get the KO against Scissor. If they didn't go for the move, I would have definitely not been able to get this off. But here we have a Colossal in the back. I stayed in for a little bit too long with my Florges, which was actually a mistake that might be a bit costly, because now they can go for a move here. They are going to be able to do some solid damage against us with a Flame Charge, but the issue is their attack is going to be boosted, and this might not be enough. It's a double super effective hit on a Pokemon which has a debuff onto the defense, but it's not enough, and so we sadly lose the final battle, just barely, but there's more testing coming. Stay tuned for more, follow for more as well, and I will see you then. Bye bye.